Poetics, man. You ready to do this, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning, man. I'm excited, man. What about you?
Man, yeah, man, especially when I seen the topic from yesterday, I thought this would be pretty cool. So,
Absolutely, man. Let's get into it.
What's going on?
Hey, you digging it for real, man? What's going on? What's up?
What's going on?
What's going on? Good morning. Hey, I am Evolution, and beside me is my dude, Mister.
poetics.
Hey, Mister Poetics. What's up, man? Boy, do we have a topic today.
Man.
we gonna get into it right here in a minute. But first, we're going to send a shout out to those sponsors, man. JG's Lounge, TGBTG, Golden Diamond Productions, and Vibe VYV. You shake it, sniff it, and it gets you going, boosts you up if you're a little sluggish, right? To help support the show and get a little discount on that product. There we go. You go to Lucian 15. Let me back up. I'm excited about the show. Go to myvibe.com and then type in Lucian 15, Lution 15, and there you go. Man, I ain't gonna hold up, dog. The title of today is Black Unity. Man. Black Unity. What you got, bro, off the title?
Man, off the top, man, it's one of those things where it's something that's really been missing for a
Mm,
long time.
mm.
So long that when you look at it as a whole, I don't know when was the last time it was actually there and we actually had it, right?
Boy, boy.
So it's something that I'm definitely looking forward to tackling.
You know, I can highlight a few times when it was there to a degree.
Right.
I'm going to say it was never there 100% because Black Unity 100% is like heaven on earth, bro. But, in the times that I can identify just off the top of my head was, when Black people unified when in the 60s, right? And then when Black people unified during Martin Luther King's, the march and all that good stuff, the meeting in Washington, uh, the Million Man March, of course, and during the Black Lives Matter situation, man. But it usually takes something remarkable for that to happen, and it's only to a degree, right? What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, man. It typically will take something. You use the word remarkable, which I think is great.
Mm.
But or to take something catastrophic.
Yeah,
Kind of-
yeah.
right.
Even a better word, man. Unfortunately, things have to get to that dramatic length for things to fall into place to a degree, man. But what we're talking about today is Black Unity, man. And if you got nothing else off the topic, man, let's get into bullet point number one.
Yes, sir. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh man, talking about Black Unity today, y'all, and welcome to the show. Thanks for all the people looking in now and later. We couldn't do it without you. We're gonna do these recordings regardless, but to have your support makes it even better, especially when you get something out of it, right? So, bullet point number one: what are we doing that others are not when it comes to Black Unity, man? What you got, bro?
Man, it's a this is just a great topic overall, man, because I often think of you ever seen or experienced the situation where somebody's, doing something. It could be under wraps, or it could be, more have a lot of notoriety behind it, whichever. And no matter what it is they do, you have a certain group of people or certain types of people who would want to criticize it like they're not doing enough or like they're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the first thing that comes to my mind, because it's like, when you're criticizing someone for doing something that you're not doing,
Mm, mm,
I
boy.
mean, it's like that's not helping the situation at all.
Excuse me.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's counterproductive. So
Absolutely. Counterproductive. Great word, man. Anything else, or you want me to go ahead with it?
oh no, you can go ahead, man.
Where do I start? Okay, so what are we doing that others are not? Oh man, dude, we are the first to criticize and bash each other, pull each other down, uh, just be negative towards each other, man. And we do that so much now, it's probably not even realized how bad and how vicious it is, man. And it's nothing good coming out of it, right? You talking about over 400 plus years of the black unity being destroyed, right? But it's like one of those things where when things change and get better, for some reason our mentality is still stuck.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like we haven't realized how far we've come because our minds and our memories are still stuck on things that happened in the past, man. Um, I think what we're doing that others are not, we're focusing on things that are important. We're focusing on things that are relevant, but we're focusing on too much things in the past that we can't get past that's holding us behind. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, man. It's like we're focusing on things that I always say, time heals all wounds.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are certain cases where a lot of times people, they take those unchecked wounds that have not yet healed,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of take it with them in life, man. They carry it with them everywhere, whether it's, in personal relationships with significant others. It could be friendships, sometimes business relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and just as a whole, it's like they'll take these wounds that they haven't allowed to actually heal, because they're still holding on to it for whatever reason. And it's kind of like that's something that can definitely not only hinder you as a whole, but it can just hinder a whole group of people as a whole, because it's not like it's only one person dealing with it.
Boy. And also, bro, to add to that, some things are so catastrophic, using your word, that it's hard to move past it or let it go or just evolve from that and realize how far we've really come, man. I mean, let's just go to this for a second. We've had, of course, the 60s and whatnot, the things that went down there. Prior to that, the slavery situation and whatnot. But, dude, we've had a black president of this country. You know what I'm saying? Not once, but twice. You know what I'm saying? He served 2 terms, right?
Right.
And the first lady, who happened to be his wife, in the first lady position, not once, but twice. You're talking about a period of 8 years, bro. And here now, we have the opportunity for not only the first woman black president, but also the first black woman president of the United States of America, man. And you're talking about the way that our people came to this country, and how bad things were then versus how bad things are now, because they're not great. They're certainly a lot better, but not where they should be, of course. But thinking about it like that, bro, that is such a huge turnaround, right? But even today, after having Barack Obama and Michelle Obama in place at the highest positions of this country, um, a lot of us, bro, are still stuck in the slavery times, in the 60s, and we just got that broken mentality, dog. We got to fix it. What are your thoughts?
Wow, there was definitely a lot said there, man.
Thank you.
I will say, considering how we as Black people here are in America, I'm going to definitely point something out here.
Hmm.
I think that knowing history and knowing our own history is so important because I can speak for myself personally.
Hmm.
It's like when you know something that you didn't know before that was kind of hidden or kept away from you,
Hmm.
and you start to realize um, what else is out there that you don't know that they're purposely trying to keep hidden from you.
Hmm.
It helps you to look at things through a different lens.
Mm.
And for me, little things, we as Black people have been in America for a long time.
Absolutely.
Obviously building the country up through the slave era. But, what most people don't know is that many of us, rather, not all, but many of us were already here long before that.
Mm. Mm.
Um, Many of us are actually native to the land.
Wow.
So it's kind of like when you start to like, and it's funny because, in our own community, you'll hear something like, oh yeah, my grandmother, has Cherokee in her blood, or my grandfather has, Arapaho, and it's
Yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah.
that, and it's kind of like a lot of people used to almost say it because of maybe the grade of the hair of the person or themselves to
Hmm.
try to kind of back their claim, but we're kind of finding out more and more that some of us do have honestly a lot of direct ties to certain lineages in Native American culture. So it's
Hmm.
like, wow, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I always kind of say it's not necessarily what you know, but who you know.
Hmm.
But there are some cases where what you know does carry you a long way, because the more you know, the more you're held accountable for.
Mm. Boy, boy, boy. Bullseye. Man, I kind of want to touch on that and elaborate, but I think I'm gonna move forward, bro,
Okay.
to the next bullet point. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Black unity, and first bullet point was, what are we doing that others are not? And the second bullet point is, what are others doing that we're not? Um, and if you don't mind, I'll start with this, and you do
Sure.
your thing, bro. I actually had a conversation very, very recently, man, that actually caused me to think of this episode and the topic. But part of that conversation was this individual was telling me about how their children were so active in school activities, right? Um, they were active in sports, they were active in uh, academics, they were active in a second sport, they were active in uh, class, you know, council, things like that. Um, just busy all the time, which keeps the parents busy all the time. Um, and they were just overachieving, right? Um, and then I thought about my efforts and my children, which is great, right? But it was almost like my efforts were, uh, I ain't gonna say pointless because they definitely had a point, but I guess my scenario different than the other person's scenario was their children were go-getters, right? They couldn't stop their children if they wanted to, but also they were going to support their children in anything and everything that they got into it, right? I'm the same way, right? But the difference is my children would just focus on maybe one thing, or didn't want to do more than one thing, or the opportunity for my children in these avenues wasn't the same opportunity of the person that I was talking to, right? I guess you're starting to see my point, and you probably understand that the person that I was talking to didn't look like me and you, right? So on that note, bro, what are others doing that we are not? What you got?
Dude, that's actually a great point because it kind of takes me back to a previous episode that we have done. And I think I may have said it maybe more than one occasion, but I've always said, and I think you might kind of laugh because I think at this point we had a little bit of a, different viewpoints on this, but I think it kind of highlights what I was saying at the time. I always say that talent is always equally distributed in the world, whereas opportunity is not. And I say that for different reasons, but I think you know that example there highlighted just one of the many ways that something like that can occur or be the case. Where you even mentioned how the person that you were talking to didn't even look like you.
Right.
And I know exactly what you mean by that. So it's kind of like, yeah, I totally get it. I totally understand that. And I think it's totally relevant given what's going on and what we're highlighting here today.
Absolutely, man. And yes, we do disagree on that because I tend to believe, ladies and gentlemen, that opportunity is out there for whoever wants to take it, right? We all have our different avenues we have to take to get to that opportunity. Some people's opportunity is right there in front of them. Some people's opportunity, you got to walk a little bit. Some people's opportunity, you got to climb a little bit. But you can, or you have the opportunity to get to that opportunity if you really want it and pursue it. With that being said, our opportunities require so much more effort. You know what I'm saying? It can be right in front of us, but for some reason, we're required to, or expected to, or are given the reason to go a lot harder to get to those opportunities. You know what I'm saying? It's frustrating. It's ridiculous. And a lot of us give up before we get to that opportunity, right? So when it comes to what are others doing that we are not, I would say our focus is not the focus that we should really have. We should, never lose our focus. We should never be distracted. And we should always keep going till we get our opportunity or hit our opportunity, because the people who did that in the past, who look like us, man, did they take it to the next? You know what I'm saying? Did they raise the bar? Absolutely, man. Every time one of us achieves the opportunity that's there in front of us, it's a historic moment, bro. It's an absolutely historic and breakthrough moment, because it's usually something that nobody's ever done before. And if somebody's done it before, we raise that bar so high that the only people that can probably break that bar or go beyond that bar is either one of us or one of our descendants. What are your thoughts, bro?
Wow, that's heavy. Yeah, man. I think I actually have to agree with you. Achievement is not, that's the funny thing about achievement for me is that it's not something that is so easily to attain, which is what makes it an achievement, right?
Right, right, right.
If any and everybody could do it, it would just kind of be, it wouldn't be as celebrated or appreciated,
Mm,
as it is.
mhm,
Whereas, when you see people who are actually able, and it could be ourselves,
mhm,
whoever it is, when you see someone achieve a certain pinnacle
mhm.
or what have you, man, it hits differently because you're like, okay, now I know it can be done.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah, man,
Uh,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to highlight what you just said. When people realize this can be done, until that record is broken, until someone really puts everything they have into it to achieve that record or new record, or it's considered not possible, right, in the minds of people. But uh, when you think about everything that we're made of and how we're constructed, uh, literally, bro, nothing is impossible. So should we be surprised when these things occur? You know, we shouldn't be, but they're so dynamic when we do it that it blows everybody away. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Who would have thought Michael Jordan, as sick as he was when he was playing the Utah Jazz, uh, would destroy them because of his focus on wanting to win that game, right? Uh, things like that happen every day in the hood, but because it's not being recorded or filmed or documented, a lot of people miss the what is the word? The fantasticness. I'll say that of what we do on a daily basis, bro. Um, I've seen basketball games uh, on the street corner at the neighborhood basketball court with some of the most amazing talent that you wouldn't believe. You know what I'm saying? I played in a lot of states around the world, a lot of cities around the world. Um, and it is some amazing talent out there, dude. I mean, okay, I'll give you some examples. I've seen dudes in the gym who shot the ball and literally just didn't miss. You know what I'm saying? And you look at the NBA, yeah, there's some great shooters, and they're outstanding, of course, and they pay, they earn their contract, and they earn their reputation. But the people that I've seen, they don't miss, bro. You talk about a stat that's 20 for 20. You know what I mean? You're talking about uh, people leaping over people who are leapers, right? You talking about people are jumping out of the gym, bro. You talking about people that are so fast that a fast person is like, good God, what is this? You know what I'm saying? What I got to do to keep up with this brother? You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that people aren't even aware of that are out there, but we know because we see it on a daily basis, or we get to experience that at some point in our lives, man. We really, if we pay attention, know how great we are.
Mm.
But since that's not where our focus is, we can't, we can't get past or we can't realize or expound on that, right? So we're too busy focusing on people like Michael Jordan, which he's a great person. There's no doubt about it. You can't take nothing from him, right? But honestly, bro, the people that I've seen play and the people that I've witnessed play and the people that I played against, if they were in the NBA at the same time as Michael Jordan, there'd be another name we'd be praising right now, bro. For real. What you got?
That's interesting. I always say it's never what you do, but how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of, You know me, man. I got a lot of different avenues that I like to pull from,
Mhm.
whether it's popular culture, sometimes the Bible itself.
Mhm.
Um, we're going to go to the Bible on this.
Okay.
It's I think it's in Songs of Solomon.
Mhm.
There is nothing new under the sun. So even though we're seeing a lot of people do things that we've never seen
Mhm.
in certain aspects,
Mhm.
the beauty of it is all these things have taken place, in different formats, of course, but all of these things have taken place once before. And I think once we start to realize, oh, we've already done these kind of great things that separate ourselves from others,
Mhm.
then I think, more unity can be, acquired, because more people are like, wow, this is actually truly possible. You know,
Mhm.
somebody has done it at this time, but now somebody's doing this, somebody's doing that. And
Mhm.
it's kind of like, for it to all come together, it's just different, I think, when people are actually able to see it done, because it just hits different, man. It kind of gives people the idea that they can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But even when they do realize that it can be done, why is it that a lot of people, most people, maybe even some in some cases, all people say that yeah, it can be done, but I can't do that.
Wow. Um, Ooh, that's a whole nother thing. But I will say this, because I think it's a good point. I think it's a good question.
Hmm.
Um, I think a lot of you remember when we had a conversation a while back, and I mentioned something about I think I've never necessarily been a parent, but I think the one thing that I would take with me if I were, is realizing that you're not going to be your child's only influence, but you want to be your child's most important influence.
Hmm.
I think, people kind of carry that, but more of a generalization in life with them.
Hmm.
So they're so influenced by a whole lot of, I hate to say it, negative things that they've seen and witnessed,
Hmm.
that even though they know that the positive is out there, and they know that there's another side or the other side of what it is they know and what they've seen,
Hmm.
it's just kind of hard for them to really capture that essence, because they're only going by what they really see and what they know. Um,
Wow.
for lack of a better term, product of their own environment.
Mm. Mm. Let me tell you what this popped in my head as you were talking. Let me tell you what I experienced directly. So I know how my parents did their thing when they were raising us, right? And my siblings and myself, we did things differently, right? My parents basically chose to live their life the way they lived it and did what they did and went the directions in life that they went. Um, and because they went the direction in life that they went, it kind of set us up to either go one way or the other. But we came up, not having everything we probably should have had. Um, and I think our mentality is, I'm gonna go out there and get what I deserve, right? So all of us, we go at it. You know what I'm saying? We work, we go get it, right? We're go getters. And then so our children, we're probably like, I want their life to be better than mine. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to struggle like I had to struggle or grind like I had to grind, right? So my generation, uh, we're like doing things for our kids that didn't get done for us, right? So the after effect of that is our children are like expecting something to be given to them, right?
Hmm.
So we didn't have it when we was coming up. So we became go-getters because we didn't have it. We like, I want it now. I got, I'm gonna go for it, right? And I'm gonna get it. That's our attitude. But our children, they're like, Dad, Dad, can I get this? Well, I would like, can I get that? You know, they want to give it to them. They don't want to. They go out and get stuff, but it's more for them, right? They're not going
Mhm.
out and getting it for everyone, right? We go out and we get it for everyone because my policy, or I mean, not my policy, but my the way I do things is like I'm gonna go get food and I'm gonna feed my family, bro, and I'm gonna make sure my family eats good before I eat, and I'm gonna eat very good, right? So that's kind of my mentality, and my kids are like, you know, I'm a DoorDash some stuff for me because I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? So, what are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, man. I think it's really relevant to everything that we're talking about because
Mhm.
I remember mentioning being a product of one's own environment. The beauty of that statement is that it can go a lot of different directions. So a
Yeah.
lot of times, in most cases, you're seeing people become products of something that they've seen and they're like, okay, this is all I know. So obviously there is nothing else out for me because this is all I was, exposed to.
Mm. Okay.
But then there's the other side of it, right? Where you experience, okay, this is what I've grown up, and I realize how difficult and almost merely impossible it was for me to
Hmm.
achieve what it was to have anything as a
Hmm.
child. So
Hmm.
what I'm going to do is, as a result of what I had experienced in my own life, I'm going to make sure that my kids don't have to experience this.
Hmm.
So it's beautiful how being a product of one's own environment can determine you and determine your path in many different ways.
Hmm.
But I think that was definitely your situation where it inspired you to never have to have your children go through that scenario.
Absolutely, man. And I would say this, and then I'll move on. Uh, Coming up, it was a small crib. You know what I'm saying? It was a handful of us, so I didn't have my own room. You know what I'm saying? I was sleeping on the couch, and I take pride in knowing that none of my kids had to do the sleeping on the couch, right? Uh, Unless we was watching a movie and they fell asleep, and then they had the option to get up and go to their room, right?
Man,
but but big difference, man, and I'm very proud of that and happy for that. But like I said, you know, because I was brought up in that environment, I chose to change how my grind was in order to make the result of my grind better for mine. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you got anything else?
no, man, I think we're doing good work here. I really do.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. It's what we do. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, our topic for the day is Black unity. And we already talked about the first bullet point, which is what are we doing that others are not? And bullet point two, we just got done with, which is what are others doing that we are not? Uh, and third bullet point of the day is why are we so motivated to lie on each other?
Mm, okay.
What you
I
got, bro?
yeah, I definitely could take this one.
What's
I think it's interesting. There's a saying or a phrase, crab in a bucket.
mm, yeah.
Um, Many people, I think the majority of people are probably familiar, but for those who aren't, I definitely want to give just a quick breakdown of it.
Hmm.
It's just basically when, obviously there are many crabs that are caught in the fish nets and so forth. They're, stored in barrels. And of course, when you look at how the crabs operate, they're always all trying to get out at the same time simultaneously. They're stepping on each other to do it. Um, and it's really interesting to really watch and observe. But it's something it's funny how when you look at the Black community itself, that mentality has actually translated to our people as a whole,
Mm,
to where we're all starting in similar humble beginnings, should I say, in most
hmm.
cases.
Hmm.
And instead of trying to help each other, get, to where we're trying to get, which means we would actually all get there a lot quicker because we're actually all trying to look out for not just oneself, but we're trying to look out for the entire neighborhood or the entire community. We're actually doing things like pulling each other or holding each other back, trying to sabotage each other. Yes, it does go as far as lying on each other, or bearing false witness against one, just to again hinder someone else's progress.
Boy, or throw shade on somebody's progress. You know what I'm saying? And I want to extend your example of the crab in the bucket a little further. Yes, everybody's always trying to get out at the same time, or crabs. But the interesting thing is, or the shameful thing is, when one crab does get close to the edge, the other crabs pull it back in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with that mentality, bro, for some reason, that mentality has become a big part of what's causing Black unity not to happen. And you hear it all the time, man. Maybe somebody wants to be a rapper and they're spitting rhymes and they're decent, right? But then you hear somebody, oh, they ain't all that. I can do better than that, and then you like, okay, well, spit something. And then they say what they will say. And I'm like, yeah, how in the world is that better than, what I'm saying?
Wow.
I'm looking at it for what it is, bro. But if we practice to make whatever we want to do perfect, then we're laying the brickwork. You know what I'm saying? We're laying the foundation to get to be an amazing lyricist, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure all the top lyricists that we could mention today had to start somewhere. And I'm
Right.
sure their first lyric showed that they had potential. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that their first lyric was probably catchy or interesting. And then, at one point, somebody probably said, you're getting pretty good. You need to go ahead and pursue that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then that person with that talent had to one day test their ability by going up against another rapper. And then they found that when they used their brain to, freestyle or whatever, and they found that they destroyed the opponent, right? And they were like, okay, yeah, I think I can do this, right?
Right.
And then from one opponent to the next, they get their confidence built up, and then they work a little harder. They focus a little harder on their craft, and then next thing you know, they making records, and then that's a vulnerable moment right there too, because they're like, well, will the world appreciate what I'm doing, right? And then their stuff goes to number one, and then so they keep going. So now they got the song of the year, and then they got the album of the year. Next thing you know, everybody's like, okay, you did it once, so now can you do it again? It's always that negative shade
Mm-hmm.
when people try to hold us back or make us give up, and then you end up with legends like LL Cool J, like Eminem, like Dr. Dre, like Nas, right? Who's behind you? You know what I'm saying? And then they transition. See, this is what people never thought about, bro. The transition of your abilities, right? You go from hip hop gangster rapper to producing other artists that are strong in their ability, and they go different directions. And then now you're a pioneer, right? Now you're an icon. You know what I'm saying? And then you start doing business with that same aggressive ability, right? And it's the same talent. You just altered it into a different avenue. And see, that's what people miss. Like, we all have to start somewhere. And if we work together, bro, do you think it would just be one Black president? Or do you think it would be many?
Wow. Man, that was so great. I'm not gonna touch that, bro. That was double and triple bullseye. That was awesome, man. Yeah,
Hey, thank
that
you,
was
man. I
perfect.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. So are we moving on to the next one?
Yes.
Hey,
That was great, man. It was.
thank you, man. So our next bullet point of the day is, why are we so eager to argue, fight, or kill each other, man? What do you got, bro?
Well, I think a lot of it, kind of stems from the example that we used earlier with, being crabs in a bucket,
Mm-hmm.
not wanting someone to succeed unless we do it first, not wanting people to, feel appreciated unless we're feeling more appreciated. There's a saying where and I have seen it with my own eyes before, where certain people who may be successful are okay with everyone else beneath them, right? But
Mm-hmm.
as soon as they see someone else, maybe get close or achieve what
Wow.
they achieved, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
even beyond, their
Mm-hmm.
mentality or their thought process kind of changes towards that other person. Like, I don't want you to, they don't say it, but you can kind of, maybe see it in their demeanor, maybe their reactions, that they don't, really, they're not totally happy for you the way that they would be if it were themselves. And it's just something that I've, paid attention to, picked up on over the years. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like, everyone has their own season.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think that when someone comes into a season of prosperity and success, we should celebrate it as if it were our own, because at the end of the day, we're going to have our season of success and prosperity.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And I'm gonna take you here because, dude, I think you just said something that set me up for the alley oop. So here's the deal, bro. Let's say I'm grinding. I run. I'm a track star, right? Not yet, but I run track and I'm very fast, and I'm blowing people out the water, right? I don't have a trainer. I don't have sponsorship. I don't have money. All I got are my legs, my ankles, my feet, my natural setup and structure of my body, right? But I love to run. I love it. I got a passion for it, right? So I go out for track. And people don't know me, you know what I'm saying? They go to school with me, right? But they don't know what I do. On my personal time, I go to the track. I run every day. I run long, I run hard, and I push myself to go as fast as I can. Sometimes I wear weighted clothes so I can, feel the pushback as I struggle with my muscles trying to go faster, right? I run in the water, you know what I'm saying? When I go to the pool, I'm just all about running because it's in me, right? It's in me. So I go try out for track, and I'm destroying people's records. I'm blowing past everybody, and everybody's like, "Holy cow, this dude is fast!" Right? Then the coach notices me. Hey, I think you need to try out for the team, right? And then you get on the team, you start blowing past everybody, and next thing you know, you take state, and then you win state, and all of a sudden, everybody appreciates who you are because you've achieved what is considered the top goal, right? But then past that is the Olympics, right?
Hmm.
So we need to focus and understand that in those moments of us trying, that we're not just doing it for us, man. You know what I mean? But in that process, if somebody comes up to you, they see you running on the track, and all they do is just hit you with negativity, like, "Hey, your form is all jacked up. You ain't got no form." You know what I'm saying? Or you just need to quit because you really ain't that fast. You know what I mean? Or let's just say somebody says, "Hey, you got some speed. Let's race," right? But at that moment, that person has a better day than you, and they destroy you that day, right? But that takes your mind off of focusing on you, and you give up. You don't run no more. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that moment where Michael Jordan's high school, he didn't make the high school team, right? Instead of him quitting or giving up, he started a fire that burned that you couldn't put out. You know what I'm saying? He was so pissed off about it. He became basketball, bro. And he was not going to be denied anymore, right? He wasn't going to let anybody say anything negative about him. He wasn't going to lose any more trials. You know what I'm saying? He was going to be the man to be picked first every single time. So, you know, when we're eager to argue or fight or kill each other, we're doing such a big, huge disservice to our people, man, to ourselves, because this is really where I want to go with this, bro. When I got the opportunity to start my own podcast show, and then the opportunity came for me to start a second podcast show, what did I do?
You did it.
And who did I do it with?
You brought me along, which I definitely appreciate, man.
Hey, that's what it's all about, bro.
Right.
That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying?
So the real beauty in what you just highlighted, and I hope I don't get too far ahead of what we're trying to do here, but the real beauty of what you highlighted is, instead of people trying to pull each other down, when someone is close to the top, you know, you can push them up. And here's the beauty of it. When they are at the top and they realize, okay, I'm out, they can pull somebody else up with them.
There it is, man. Boom. I got nothing else on that one. Way to seal it up. Way to seal it up, man. Bullseye all day. And one more point I want to make. And this is so serious, ladies and gentlemen. It's so serious, but we're making a strong point here as you listen and understand where we're going with this. When people kill each other, you're not only destroying that person or your life, because there's an after effect to that this unreal, because the killers come after you, or you spend the rest of your life in prison, right? You lose your life even though you're still living, but you're also killing the offspring of that individual. That lifeline dies. Right. You know what I'm saying? So if that person is the great grandfather of someone who would be considered Moses, you feel me? The great grandparent of someone who would be considered Rosa Parks. You know what I'm saying? The great grandparent of someone who would be later known as a Martin Luther King Jr. You know what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this?
Wow.
And honestly, bro, if there wasn't a Martin Luther King Jr., there probably wouldn't have been a Barack Obama.
Right.
You see where I'm going with this?
Right. And here, like, I love what you did there, man, because the interesting side of everything is people have a tendency to you're angry with somebody, you want to take their life. And it's like, you know, the one thing about it though, and no matter how ruthless you are, no matter what, it has to live with you. You have to live with that for the remainder of your days, regardless of how long or how short those days are. And the thing is, you can never make it right with that person, because that's a life taken. That's a life that you've taken out of here. Whereas, you know, even if there's a grudge, at least there's, you know, time for you to make it right with that man, or time for you to make it right with that woman. But if you take their life, there's no coming back from death.
No, and you actually mark yourself for death as well.
Right.
Man, well stated, bro. I hope everybody's getting our point here. Because honestly, bro, it feels like everybody else is trying to make that action towards us. But it's even worse when we make that action towards ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We need to band together. Yeah, thank you. We need to band together with a quickness and lock arms and stay there. You know what I'm saying? Moving on. You good with that?
Yes, sir.
Next on the list, when it comes to Black unity, we want to talk about why are we quick to judge one another or hate on one another? It's kind of taking it a little bit further than what we talked about before. What do you got, bro?
Wow. I got a couple different things, so I'm gonna go ahead and highlight them.
Okay.
Me and popular culture. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start there, but I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring it somewhere.
Okay.
Of course, it was the great Tupac, that said, "Only God can judge me."
Hmm.
But I do want to take it further than what even Tupac did, because he's like, no matter what I do, at the end of the day, I only have to answer to God for it. And there's a little bit of truth in that, but it's not the only truth in it.
Hmm.
People don't realize their actions judge them. What you do is going to be what's carried with you. It's going to be how people remember you. It's going to be how people respond to you, what they think of you. I mean, all of it.
Hmm.
So if your actions are, good, if they're pure, if your thoughts are good, if your heart is in the right place,
Hmm.
in most cases, people will remember you in a way that is admirable.
Hmm.
If your if your actions are, a little bit more sinister,
Mm.
and you didn't try to do too much to help anyone outside of your own self, and you walked around with a lot of malice in your heart,
Hmm.
people are going to remember that about you too. So I think all I'm basically saying is, if you put more thought, put more time into how you will actually be remembered and how you really truly want to be remembered, I think when it's all said and done, you'll find yourself making hopefully better decisions with your day-to-day actions, because to carry that kind of to carry guilt or negative morality, I mean, that's heavy, man. If you do good, it'll come back to you. If you don't do good, well, that'll come back to you as well.
Interesting, bro. Very, very solid. I want to go here, man, because people know right from wrong. They do. Because if they know right, they know what wrong is. And if they know what wrong is, they know what right is, right? It's that's just that simple. No matter how people try to twist it some other way, it's really that simple. Uh, so, with that being said, I've had conversations with people who chose the not so famous route in life.
Hmm.
And I've even heard them confess to their own lips, man, I wish I was more like you. Or I wish I could have did this differently. But this is where I'm at. This is all I know. So I'm accept that, and whatever happens, happens. And
Wow.
I'm like, you know what? You saying that right there makes me know that you acknowledge that you are not where you want to be, or you did some things that you're not proud of. With that right there being said, it's just simple to just start doing things differently.
Right.
It really is. It's that simple. Whether you want to do it or not, that's up to you. But most people talk themselves out of changing, so they can have a better opportunity. And at the same time,
Wow.
most people just choose to hate on each other instead of putting forth their own effort to make their lives better. And, it's easier to say, well, such and such did this when they was a kid, or they did this to me and I ain't gonna never forgive them for it because, this, and that. But in all reality, they've moved past that.
Right.
They've changed from so much from that moment that you wouldn't even recognize them if you had a conversation with that same person, right? But
Right.
you are still holding on to that moment that happened years ago that's really not even nothing to trip about because it's nothing anyway, right?
Right.
Why do we do that, bro? Why do people get stuck on something that's either stupid or not worth the energy that they're putting into it when they can just say, you know what? I forgive you. Yeah, I didn't like what you did. I didn't like what you said, but I'm just going to leave it at that. We may not do anything together from this point, but as a human being, I respect you and I wish you the best because I'm going to do my thing and try to do the best I can. But just know that from this point on, because we had this moment, that 100% that I was given is probably like 50% now. You know what I'm saying? And that's taken a lot out of me to do that 50% when you're involved. So I think the best thing to do is like you go your direction and I'm gonna go mine. What you think, bro? What you got?
Yeah, man. You said a lot in that statement, man. And I think people we're so focused on the wrong stuff. Is what it boils down to. We're so focused on how we can get over, how we can, it's like deeper than trying to just get by. You're trying to really, sabotage other people
Boy.
just to, make a come up. And I think, we have to get past that. We have to get to the point to where, okay, this is where I'm at. To your point earlier, I've had the same scenario, man, having conversations with people who clearly, regretted something about some past decisions they've made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, to your point, they're always in a state of mind of, oh, I'm too old to change, or I've done too much to go back now. And it's just kind of like, I'm just going to leave it here. It's never too late until you're no longer breathing.
Right.
I mean, as long as you have life, you can always change and be better than you were before.
Okay, so let me do this, bro. What if the purpose in life was to figure it out? Every day you wake up is another day or opportunity to change and go the right direction that you need to go. And then I'm gonna say this: if people are stuck and their life didn't end until they figured it out, how old would people really be, bro?
Dude, it's interesting you say this. And man, we're getting really philosophical. I mean, I know we do this anyway.
Heck yeah.
But I'm going to take it a step further, man, because I'm going to double down on what you said.
Okay.
I don't think the purpose of life is to, for us to, live every day until we figure it out. It's almost like I innately know that is the purpose of life, for us to figure it out. Like you're up, I ain't got it yet. God blesses us with another day to figure out how to become the best versions of what it is he wants us to be.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes it can take interesting experiences. I know for me, I've actually had an interesting experience that I'm going to keep, private for now.
Absolutely.
That occurred to me recently, and it actually changed a lot of my entire perspective on things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, I think that's the purpose of life, man. It's like we're not just put here to make a lot of money and die. Go ahead.
I will say this, not knowing what you're talking about,
did
this experience to change your perspective in life involve an interaction between someone else?
Yes, absolutely.
There
absolutely.
It is. There
absolutely.
it is. There
absolutely.
it is. There it is.
Absolutely.
If you didn't get what I just did, that was powerful, man. But that's the truth. We impact and affect others by how we do what we say, how we treat people, how we get along, all that good stuff, man. So, and I will say this, bro. It doesn't matter where you at. It doesn't.
Right.
I impact people halfway across the world every day by being here and just doing something and saying something, right?
Right.
I impact people states away just by doing something and saying something, right? Now, I don't tell all my business. I don't tell people what I do, but the people that I do it for, they know what's up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we can have such an impact on so many people, man, by doing and saying not only the right thing, but and saying what's right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So when you got hatred in your heart for somebody else,
Hmm.
or you trying to judge somebody else, maybe you should take a look in the
In
mirror.
the mirror. That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And the first person you should judge should be you.
Right.
And let me go back a little bit. The first person you argue with should be you. The first person you fight should be you.
You.
And the first person you kill should be you.
Wow. I love it.
Thank you,
I love
sir.
it, man. I love it.
So, man, we killing it, man. We heating it up, and it's really intense right now because we bringing the fire and rain, bro. So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
take a break and get into one of our segments. Was what we call I didn't see it and I didn't heard it all. Man, I read this. I was like, yep, this is it. Greek man convicted of causing disturbance by entering neighbors' properties to smell their shoes. Come on, man. Really? Dude, that is okay, that's a fetish out this world. But it's really a sickness when you gotta sneak into your neighbor's house to sniff their shoes. What's really going on, bro? Let me read the caption before you respond, bro. That headline is ridiculous, but listen to this. A judge in northern Greece has imposed a suspended 1-month prison sentence on a man convicted of disturbing his neighbors by repeatedly sneaking into their properties to smell their shoes. What in the world? What you got, bro? I can't make this stuff up, man. Still nothing?
I mean,
Oh, man.
of all the things, man, that can take place,
Uh-huh.
it's just weird that can be one of them.
Dude,
I I don't have words, bro.
I just got to say that right there is an excellent example of what's wrong with the world, bro.
Man.
When you are so focused on sniffing somebody's shoes that you got to sneak into your neighbor's house repeatedly, come on, bro.
Wow.
Oh man, what is going on with that? I have no idea, but
Wow.
I didn't see it and I didn't heard it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, that got me crying over here.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. Moving on to the next, man. Oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, today, thank you for tuning in once again. We are talking about Black unity, and we're hitting some bullet points that's really strong today. But please listen to this whole episode so you can get the fullness of what we're talking about. Our next bullet point here is why do we give up on each other so quickly? What are your thoughts, bro? Yeah.
Wow. I think a lot of times, people, they approach their own lifestyles and they're kind of like, okay, I could have done more with my life. And instead, this is the only place that I've made it to. So what they'll do is when it comes to their outlook on others, they'll say, okay, this is all the potential that I see in you because whatever potential was in me, I obviously didn't reach. So what would make you think that you could possibly reach your own?
Man, I got two things that came up when you said that. Was that a question for me?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it was just more of a rhetorical question, but you can definitely feel free to answer if you like.
Absolutely, man. And I'm gonna go here while I jot my thoughts down real quick. I'm gonna say limited view and low expectations, man.
Mm,
And now I'll expound on that. For some reason, man, our people have created some type of understanding that we need to belittle ourselves and the people that are around them. We don't need that. We got too many people who are outside of us that are doing that for us, right?
wow.
Or have done that in the past. We need to uplift each other and support each other and push each other to the greatness that we are so that we can eventually go beyond that greatness as a group or unit or people, right?
Right.
So when we give up on each other, we give up on our culture, man.
Hmm.
We give up on our progress that we've made, and the people before us, did what they did to get us to this type of progress that we're having now. Uh, we live in the age of computers, cell phones,
Hmm.
AI. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so much is going on right now, bro,
Oh my
and
God.
it's moving so fast. But because we're stuck in the past, we can't even embrace the the positive result or the energy from modern technology, right? Modern technology is actually working against us
Hmm.
as opposed to working for us, right? We're not profiting off of none of this stuff,
Right.
but these things are being used to for people who are wanting to be crabs in the bucket. Look on the internet, dude. I mean, no disrespect, but when you see things like what Cat Williams is doing,
Mm.
he's throwing shots at everybody. He's throwing shots at dude. Even if what he's saying is the absolute truth, why is it his main focus to destroy these people? You know what I'm saying? What you do in the dark will come to the light. Yes, of course. And if Cat Williams is the light, more power to you, brother. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying and what I choose to do is if that's what they're doing and that's their life, it'll eventually catch them. You know what I'm saying? If I notice something directly, is it my responsibility to address it? I would say to a degree, yes, depending on what it is, right? So, and timing is everything. So let me use this example. If I know somebody, or oh, no, better yet, if somebody comes to me and say, "Hey, can I entrust you with some information? I just need to talk to somebody, and I think you're a good person to talk to." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. What you got?" And then they hit you with something that you ain't ready for. Like, oh wow, I didn't want all that. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
you find out the specifics of what's bothering them or what they're dealing with, and you try to provide some sound advice. Even though you're not, a psychologist or whatever. But they came to you, so now it's your responsibility to try to help that person or send them in the right direction, right? Um, but what happens with most situations is the person that we entrust that valuable information with or that classified information with, instead of them keeping it one on one, they go spread it to someone else. And
Hmm.
then it comes back to that person who entrusted you. And then it's like an awful, terrible moment when they will no longer trust you on anything else, right? So
Right.
that form of communication and that level of trust and that respect that they have for you is now gone,
Right.
right? And it can't come back because you know if somebody comes to you, for instance, and say, hey, my spouse has been beating on me and I don't know what to do. I don't know who to turn to.
Wow.
But it's built up over the years and I need to do something. But right now I'm talking to you about it because it got that bad and it's getting that worse. So I need to know, I don't know what to do. Right. So you had an impossible conversation and it blows you away. You can't get rid of something like that. Right. Because these people, you know what I'm saying? You good with these people. Right. And you
Right.
would have never known that
That
was
was the
occurring.
case. Right.
Right. So it becomes your responsibility to say, I know this brother, right? We good, and I can't not say nothing, right? But I don't want, the beatings to continue or get worse because I say something, right? Nor do I want me to have friction with this person, right? So it's a difficult place to be in, right? But as a people, we are called upon and we have to respond, for the possible betterment of that scenario, and I'm not going to go and talk to my dog or my homie or my acquaintance in front of everybody else. I'm going to say, hey, dog, I got some time. You want to go play some ball? Cool. And on the basketball court, one-on-one, I'm going to let the game get heated, right? We're going to be getting our frustrations off. We're going to be getting our tension off and playing a good game. Right in the middle of that game, I'm going to say, yo, hold up. Let me holler at you for a second. And then while the adrenaline's rushing, and be like, look, your spouse came to me and entrusted me on something, and this is what it is. Dog, is that what you're doing? Because that ain't what we do. And if you got to beat on somebody, you do it right here, right now. And you know what's going to happen? Nothing. Because if that dude shrinks himself to putting his hands on his spouse, you think he's going to be man enough to put his hands on you?
Right.
Because he know what's going to happen if he even thinks about swinging your way, right? So
Wow.
you put that in his mind. It's like your business is your business, and that's your spouse. But if I hear anything about this ever again, dog, you better know I'm going to straighten it out, and we're going to have that conversation. That's it. We finished the basketball game. You know what I'm saying? So what's wrong with that?
Wow.
What you got, bro?
Man, you brought up so much,
Yeah, man. That's what we do, bro.
You brought up so much, man. To be honest, where you started and then where you took it was so good, bro. I don't think there's really a need for me to go really much beyond. I just, I'll add one small nugget here.
Okay.
And I just think, and it's funny because, me and popular culture, man, I always I can take the smallest thing and I can highlight it in a way that makes it like, wow. So here's one of those moments. You're a big Marvel guy as well.
Absolutely.
Stan Lee and all of that. I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to leave it at that. With great power comes great responsibility.
Man, way to cap that off. Absolutely, man. And we all got great power. We just need to remember that and focus on that and use it for the greater good. I'll say it like that.
Right.
Next bullet point, man. Boy, this is strong, man.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Why are we so quick to discredit each other? And we kind of been highlighting that all day. But let's go here. Since I mentioned Cat Williams,
Ooh.
the things that's going on right now with the industry and Diddy and a host of other things.
So much.
Like I said, man, people's situation is their situation. It's what they're doing. It's been going on allegedly for years. And honestly, bro, let's keep it real. These freak offs cannot be freak offs if the freaks weren't being a part of those freak offs.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
This stuff has involved many people, allegedly, and they do it because they either like doing it or they get involved with it and they don't want to say nothing about it because it'll come back on them. You know what I'm saying? But they're doing it, right? They know it exists, but discredit, they don't want that discredit, right? They don't want to be exposed. They want to do it behind closed doors. That's their business, bro. But when it comes to breaking the law
Hmm.
or being a victim, you know what I'm saying? That's what gets everybody in trouble. They don't know where to draw that line.
Right.
But when it comes to discredit, man, you got a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, discrediting others.
Mhm.
Is it even if it's due, bro? Is it really your place to discredit them and do it on a public event, public social media, whatever? That's what are your thoughts, bro? What are your thoughts?
Man, the topic of what you're bringing up, man, when you talk about the Diddy situation and the freak offs, it's for me it's such a delicate topic, man, because it's so many ways you can take that conversation. To answer your question, should it be one's responsibility to feel like they just have to spill all the tea even if it be true? I mean, I don't. It's funny, man. It's one of those things where I don't know if I know the answer to that question. I think, man, to an extent, like you said before, yeah, probably. But I know here's one thing I'm going to highlight, and it's not even just with Diddy's black friends, but also his white friends have been wrapped in a loop, and they were present and busy and all that. I think the thing that's most interesting is actually not even Diddy. For me, it's all the other names that are associated to have been there, and of course, the thing is everyone is trying to separate themselves as much as they can. No, I didn't participate in this. It's a lie. I wasn't there. I wasn't present. Somebody was there. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where there were obviously other people who of notoriety, who've attended these events and did what they did or whatever, or not done what they've done. But it's really interesting, and I'm going to leave it here on this on this subject, and I'm going to say the one person I believe not to be present was Denzel Washington. What did he say? When the devil gets busy, you want to make sure you're already left the party before the devil gets there.
Absolutely, just don't go to the party at all.
Right, right.
That's a hard one. And it's still live, and it's still processing. And I wish the best for everybody, bro.
Man,
even when they're allegedly guilty, and even further, if they're not guilty and they're being looked at as guilty, right? Because that's a scar that may not ever leave. But I will say this, man. There are many cases every day that you get all these people discrediting somebody, and it don't happen until the first person starts discrediting them, right? And it's like all of a sudden these people are jumping on the bandwagon to discredit this person when they had the opportunity probably for years to voice the truth, allegedly, right? So why are we so quick to discredit each other? I don't know. Maybe it's because, the topic that we're talking about, Black unity. When you think about the reasons why somebody would discredit somebody else, it's usually self-centered. You know what I'm saying? It's usually jealousy or envy. It's usually that they're lazy and don't want to get off their backside to go hard and achieve what it is they really want to achieve. They might just be scared of success.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They might be scared to fail. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fears out there that people are dealing with, but the only way to deal with it or handle it is to face that fear. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared of heights, bro. But will I get on a roller coaster? Somebody call me a chicken? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a girl, because that's happened before. and I rode that roller coaster 8 times, right? Just to prove that I wasn't a chicken.
That's hilarious, man. The list that we go through to prove certain things, man, it's hilarious.
Yeah, man. So you know, we just gotta be careful, man, because we never realize what the future may bring. You know what I'm saying? So if you're all about discrediting people or discrediting someone in their time of proving themselves innocent if they're guilty, or proving themselves innocent if they're innocent, regardless of what it is, you never know that might spin around, and one day you might be that person who have to deal with all that. And you know, hopefully not, but sometimes that occurs. What you got, bro?
Man, I just feel, I think I just need to add one thing, man, because I think we're really bringing a lot to the table here today.
Absolutely.
I want to go back to the Diddy thing,
Okay.
and I just think it's so relevant to the topic, Black
Mhm.
unity, and to being, you know, with how quick we are to discredit someone in our own community, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's Diddy now, Bill Cosby back when, R. Kelly back when, the one
OJ.
O.J. Simpson back when.
Mhm.
The one common denominator I get out of all of this is these are all black men.
Boom. Boom. And who's doing the most discrediting? Black people.
Right.
Black people. And you know, I love Stephen A. and I watch his show a lot, but dude, he's dedicated so much time to Diddy lately, and
Wow.
aggressively. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Wow.
like, nobody else is dedicating that type of aggressive discredit to Diddy right now than Stephen A. And I hope that he chooses his topics and subjects um, on a different topic and subject. I'll just say it like that. Yes, you want to bring people to news, and yes, we're going to have our personal views about things. And he might be closer to the situation than I am, of course. But again, bro, why do we take it upon ourselves to be the biggest discreditor when we are involved?
Wow.
That's all I got on that one, bro.
Yeah.
Next one. We got a couple more after this. We pushing our time limit big time. Why do we respect everyone else's? No. Let me start over. Why do we respect everyone else before we respect ourselves? What you got, bro?
Man, we see this far way too often.
Mhm. Yeah.
Where we find ourselves respecting other people, other cultures, other native tongues, but we kind of, when it comes to each other and what we're trying to do, we find ourselves always in an area or always in a mindset of, oh, this is not as important, or you know, we're, you know, to your point, blatantly disrespecting someone else who looks like us.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, we have all this negative energy that's been built and pent up through, you know, life, maybe generational turmoil, so many different things that, you know, that it could be that, you know, that brings it all about. But it's like, we just got to get out of that, man. We've got to get to the point where we find a way to lift each other. Because if we don't respect each other, man, we're really in a position where we're not respecting ourselves at this point.
And when we don't respect ourselves, why should anybody else respect us?
That's it. That's
so
it.
we take that to the government, we take that to the police, we take that to people who are of a different background who don't like us for whatever reason. We take that and put it in everything, bro. When we apply for something, when we're on a job trying to make it to the next level, when we're just on the street, man, and how people interpret the type of people we are based on what they know about stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go here. I had a woman. I was at the gas station, and she was trying to put a hubcap on her car, and I went in to pay for my gas, and I came back out, and she said, "Excuse me, can you help me put this on?" And I was like, I just kind of looked at her and processed what it was in her hand and the situation. So I didn't really say much because it caught me off guard. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about where I was going. So I pumped my gas, and as I was pumping my gas, I saw her ask another person who was like herself to help her do it. And as I'm pumping the gas, I'm just processing everything, man. And then I'm watching both of them struggle. And so after I pump my gas, I walk over there and I just say, "Do you still need help?" And then they just kind of kept going. I said, "What you need to do is put this here, and then it should go in." That's simple. And then they did it. And then they both were like, "Well, thank you very much." And I was like, "Yeah." And then on my way back to my car, I was thinking about what their mental thought process was when she didn't get the response that she thought she should have got initially, and then asked the other person. And then when they were over there amongst themselves, they probably had, some words with themselves about whether I responded or not. And then after I helped them, they were grateful, of course. But this is what I'm reaching at. I wonder what their comment was after I came over there and helped them do it the right way anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So because people don't have the initial reaction that you think they should have, maybe they're just thinking about something totally different than what you're asking them, and they're processing, and they have to shift their mind thought process to help you out or whatever, comply with what you're saying. But honestly, bro, I'm gonna tell you my first thought process, and these were both white women. I was thinking, is this a scam? Are they trying to hustle me? Are they trying to set me up to get robbed? You know what I'm saying? Because of where I was at. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also thinking they're thinking the same of me, but because they needed help, they asked me for help, right? So people, they have this weird thing that they do, man. If they need help, they come to us first, bro, because they know the good people that we naturally are. Our natural response is to help people, right? And that's what we typically do. You just don't want to piss us off, right? What are your thoughts, bro?
Dude, I think you're doing a lot of bullseyes yourself today. And I think that's an incredible story because it literally highlights everything we're talking about. Even though these ladies didn't look like you, the way that you broke it down, and it's so much that goes into. I always like to say 4 words and how there's 3 strikes against us in these 4 words. Black man in America.
Yeah.
What are the 3 strikes? Black man, America. And I think a lot of times, we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. And what I mean by that is, we have just a lot of things going on mentally, a lot of
Mhm.
things with processing.
Mhm.
And like you said, you just, you had your mind and your mindset on something different because you're
Mhm.
like, okay, this is where I got to focus on this so I can get myself together.
Yeah.
And, they were probably upset in the beginning that you didn't, give them the response that they were looking for.
Mhm.
But again, you understanding those three strikes, Black man, America,
Mhm.
your thought, went where it should have went. Could they be trying to set me up?
Mhm.
Or are they trying to, do something to me a little underhanded that I'm not aware of?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, all that has to go into play because it's a little bit of an awkward situation or an odd situation.
Absolutely, definitely unusual and not the norm. So, but it worked out to where I was able to tell them what to do, and they did it, and it went right on. Of course, because they didn't understand a final, or not a final, but a small detail that when you do put hubcaps on, or if you have experience putting hubcaps on, uh, to look for that initially, right? But it's interesting how people expect us to know how to do things. Usually we know how to do those things, right? And usually we can help. But in those situations, they always come to us for help. But anything outside of that, bro,
We're the last people on the radar.
boom. Next bullet.
You know what's crazy, man? And I just want to add this in real quick to even further drive along this point.
Uh-huh.
That in that situation,
Mhm.
they obviously came to you for help, and it was
Mhm.
obvious that they needed it, and we know what the situation was.
Absolutely.
But there's another scenario where if come across these ladies, their other natural response might be to clutch their purse.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So
But
one in one scenario, you're an enemy that doesn't exist. In another scenario, you're their best friend because they need something from you.
and there's a third scenario, bro. That's why I'm laughing, because I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I got to do this. The third scenario is the love of the loins, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that, and we're gonna move on.
Oh man.
Oh man, what is keeping us from loving ourselves slash each other? What you got, bro?
Wow. Um hmm. I got a very poignant response.
Okay.
Nothing and everything.
Ooh, ooh, man, you got to expound on that.
I know. I know. So the nothing part is, you know, our own worst enemy is us. We've
Mhm.
clearly highlighted that through, all these segments. And it's like, we just got to get out of our own way, so
Boy.
that we can basically figure out that if we don't love each other, we'll die.
Mm.
Um, but when I say everything, we have all these little hangups, man. We highlighted that earlier too, whether it's, life experience, uh, environmental background. It could be, you know, even something traumatic that's happened to you that you just can't get past. Um, Whatever it may be. Um, all these things find a way to keep us in our own way. We have to get out of our own way. We have to figure out it takes a lot more energy to do harm to ourselves than it does to do good.
Mm.
Um, I mean, we know this scientifically, factual as it takes a lot more effort to actually make a frown on one's face than it does to make a smile.
Wow.
So it, you know, let's take the natural order of things and which is God and even science, man, how they can really coincide with each other, even though people always try to put them against each other.
Right.
And just, what did Spike Lee say? Do the right thing.
Of course.
Just
Of
do the
course.
right thing.
What is keeping us from loving ourselves and each other? I'm going to do it like this, bro. I'm going to hit that
Okay.
while I hit the last bullet point of the day. What is keeping us from Black unity? I think you hit on that. I think we hit on that all through here, but I'm going to go ahead and break it down to 3/4 things. What is keeping us from loving ourselves and each other? What is keeping us from Black unity? The first thing is issues. The second thing is confusion. And the 3/4 thing is holding our place / knowing our place. I think if we focus on issues in the proper manner that we should focus on them, that would really start to bridge this gap. For instance, somebody is upholding a policy of a company and you're trying to do business at this company one way or the other. And just because this person is doing their job, which is, respecting the policies of the company, all of a sudden you're racial profiling or you're being prejudiced. Come on, man. Come on, man. Do we know what racial profiling is? Do we know what prejudice really is? If somebody comes up to you and blatantly calls you the N-word, that's prejudice. That's,
Right.
if a police pulls 10 cars over and 9 of them are Black men and the 10th one is a Black woman, that's racial profiling, right?
Right.
So let's just stop getting it twisted. Let's call things what they are. You know what I'm saying? If you're not understanding the policies of a business, or if you don't want to do what's right with and follow those policies of the business, don't blame somebody else for being prejudiced or racial profiling, because that's not what it is. You the ignorant one in that situation, right? Stop being ignorant, follow the policies, do what you're supposed to do what's right, and get on with your life, right? Stop calling stuff something else than what it is. You know what I'm saying? In that case, you the one that's being racial. You the one that's being prejudiced.
Wow.
Okay, that's the first one. And
Wow.
I'll let you cap it off when I get done. Confusion, man. People have gotten so confused, man,
Huh.
to the point that they are writing their own definitions of what's going on, right? So if you're in a room or if you're in a building and the power goes out, right? There's no more light. There's no more functions of the electrical products. Maybe the air goes off, maybe the heat goes off, whatever. All power is gone, right? No doubt about it. You can't click a switch and something comes on, right? You can maybe turn on a flashlight. You know what I mean? You can maybe turn the light on your phone if you still got percentage on your battery, right? But you cannot walk around as you will walk around with light, or you'll bump into something, right?
Clearly.
So just knowing in that scenario that everybody can respond accordingly because there's no confusion. The lights went out. You have to operate without electricity and without light and walk gingerly unless you want to walk into something or trip over something, right?
Right.
We can all understand stuff like that. We can all understand that when we get hungry, we eat something, right? We all can understand that when it's time to go to the bathroom, we go to the bathroom, right? We all can understand that when we cut ourselves, it bleeds red blood, right? We all can understand that our heart beats and we breathe air through our lungs, right? Why in the heck can we not figure out that we just need to do what's right?
Wow. Man, bro, that was so powerful. I'm not gonna try to do something incredibly elaborate to follow that up. I'm just gonna try to keep it really simple and say, you know, let love prevail. I mean, I think we kind of highlighted that in the ninth point of why are we not, what does it take to get us to the point to where we can actually love one another?
Mhm.
Be, after everything you just highlighted, knowing in us knowing the natural differences between right and wrong,
Mhm.
just let love prevail. Do what's right. Um, I think I can cap it off with this. I think this will be good.
Okay.
Um, as you know, Sam Cooke is my favorite artist of all time.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna highlight just a couple of his lyrics, man. And it's actually not gonna be from "A Change Is Gonna Come," which is
Okay.
obviously an incredible classic,
Mhm.
but it's actually from one of his less well-known tracks. But man, it's so effective when you actually hear it.
Mhm.
It's titled "Keep Moving On," and you know, he says, "If there's one thing that I know, what you reap is what you sow."
Boom. Yeah.
Um, and the other thing he says in the song that's just as powerful: if you spread good all around, you will be able to sleep when the sun goes down.
Man. Wow.
And it's just,
Powerful words. Mhm.
yeah, man, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, we know the natural difference of the right and wrong.
Mhm.
So if we can just live by some of these really few but simple principles and let love prevail, it will.
Man, that's beautiful. And that sends me right to my last point and what I was going to say about the bullet points 9 and 10. What is keeping us from loving ourselves or each other, and what is keeping us from Black unity? Um, Knowing our place slash holding our place. Um, when we realize who we are and what we are, for instance, Black women, one of the most beautiful creations on the planet Earth. Um, but something occurred in their brain to
Wow.
where they want the premium of life,
Hmm.
but where they are doesn't merit the premium of life.
Wow.
And my suggestion to Black women, wholeheartedly, with all the love that I can say it with, is if you want the premium of life, then you make yourself premium of life worthy.
Wow.
Um, as just straight that point, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, uh, our children need to know their place. You know what I'm saying? They need to hold their place as children and respect their elders,
Hmm.
right? As well as elders need to respect the children, but children need to respect their elders. And you always go to the Bible, bro. I'm gonna go to the Bible on this one.
Okay.
Honor thy father and thy mother, for thy days will be long upon the earth. You know, boom, boom, boom. So, with that being said, our brothers, our Black men, need to know their place and hold their place. Uh, and we have the biggest responsibility, bro.
Man.
Our responsibility is to take care of our family, but it's also to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of our
My
family.
families. Uh-huh.
Um, but our families need to respect us. Our wife needs to respect us, girlfriend, significant other, whatever. Our children need to respect us. However, should we have to earn that respect? Absolutely. Every day we work up, we have to earn that respect so that we can keep that respect. It does. Our job is consistent and always. You know what I'm saying? We cannot be caught slipping when it comes to earning our respect on a daily basis. Every day, all day, we got to own it. We got to embrace it. That's our job. You know what I'm saying? And then their job is to respect us and understand maybe not why they need to respect us, but the need behind respecting us because we're going to take care of everything. But when you take care of us in the right manner of respect, anything is possible, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
If the wife or the significant other is focused on what's important to them, it's all the air is going to come out of the balloon. I'll say it like that. But if the wife holds her place and knows her place and supports that brother, that man, and takes care of the home and the children, and I'm not saying that to be subservient, right? I'm saying it that because when a brother comes home from a hard day of work and the house is clean, smells clean, the food is cooking, it smells good. Maybe in some cases, back in the old days, they used to run bath water, so he could come home and decompress and get cleaned up and feel good and clean in the environment, right? Get the work out the way. Come home to a hug and a kiss, right? Instead of arguments and complaints. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When we know our place and hold our place, bro, that's going to define our unity. And we'll be able to pull together, sync together, hold together, live together, rise together. What you got, bro?
Man, bro, it's thinking of how God intended things to be when he first made creation.
Mm-hmm.
What you just said was just on par with that. Me and popular culture, I can't help myself. I have some kind of song, movie analogy for everything, man.
Mhm.
So I gotta go here, but I think you'll appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a song by the OJs called Family Reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the song itself is incredible. The vocals pristine, but the message, man, the message is really what's really missing in today's world. I mean, I think it was even missing back then, which is why they, recorded that song.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it's only a million times worse now. And we've got to get to the point where after they sing the verses, Eddie Levert begins to break down the nuances of what family and the structure of the family and how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically just done the same thing. But I think, people really need to go back and listen to that, man, because we really need to get back to that. We need to get back to the point of the family structure, right?
Absolutely.
Where, your family is everything. The way you act, think, the way, the reason for you even breathing is evolving around how you can make life better for you, your family. But obviously you want to try to please God above, because if he ain't happy, ain't nothing gonna work anyway, right?
Boy, and if he ain't happy, you ain't happy for sure.
That's it.
And the last thing I got, man, is just we need to stop taking advantage of each other. And if we are going to take advantage of each other, let's do it in a good way. So let's say, for instance, I'm an NBA superstar. I've been balling for 5 years. My contracts are sealed. My money's good. I got a big fat house. I got some big fat cars. I'm good. I signed a 10-year contract. You know what I'm saying? My life is good. And I see these young college players coming up, and I'm gonna have what do they have? Those them camps, those training camps.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna personally invite these players because I see what they're doing, I see their potential, and I want to reach out to them and see if I can help them do what needs to be done to get to the NBA, because I'm there. You know what I'm saying? I know what I had to go through to get there. So I'm gonna go personally offer for them to come to my training camp so I can work with them one-on-one and give them the tools that they need to be successful in their transition to pro ball. You know what I'm saying? That's how we take advantage of each other. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We take what's available and offered, and we do it in a good, positive way to where when we get to that point to where we can offer help to somebody else, we offer that help to somebody else.
Right.
But what's been happening is people have basically had to make the journey by themselves. So once they get there, they come up with this term, it's lonely at the top, because everybody has burnt a bridge with you on your way to get there. Either they try to discredit you or talk you down, or just make it harder for you to get there because of where they at up here. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to leave the hood. They want you to stay there and
Hmm.
just be ignorant for the rest of your life. But that's not the way to go. You know what I'm saying? We need to make the hood a good thing. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't make it a negative thing. I have some things that I have in plan to do in the future, and I really hope that they come to pass, bro. But I can't speak on it now because it's in the works. But definitely, I would love to make the negatives a positive. You know what I'm saying? And I'll leave it at that. I don't want to give too much and put my idea out there, but I'm working on something huge, and hopefully I'll see that come to pass in my efforts. But we just need to take advantage of the good things that people are offering, because somebody has a little bit of money, or we think somebody has a little bit more money. We don't want to make our presence known in their life by always asking them for something. If you're going to ask for something, ask this question. I see you successful. I see you doing some good things in life. What can you give me that can help me get successful and get good in life? You know what I'm saying? We need to teach our people how to fish instead of catching fish for them and having a fish fry and having them eating one good meal at one time. You know what I'm saying? We need to teach them how to fish so that they can always fish whenever they get hungry and feed themselves, and teach the next generation how to fish. What you got, bro?
Yeah, man, that's perfectly stated, man. I mean, that's what it's really all about is, everyone, I always say everyone needs a little bit of help on their way to being self-reliant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's exactly that, if you fish for someone, they're going to need for you to fish for them again, right? But
Right.
if you teach them, how to fish, obviously they're, sustainable, and not only can they continue to feed themselves, but to your point, they can now teach someone else how to fish. They can pass that knowledge along to their children, to their kinsmen, to their community.
Mm-hmm. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is how we create Black
Like
unity.
unity.
My man Poetics, thanks for being a part of this. We're quickly approaching 1 year on our show, which is crazy, man. It seemed like we started yesterday, and I'm already 5 days past a year with my first show, podcast show, That's Life. And it's been a great experience, man. And time flies when you're having fun. But we got more shows to come, and a lot more information to give people to help them get a little bit better, right?
Absolutely.
But I just want to thank the public and everybody that's viewing me and downloading me and becoming liking me and following me and us, because it's because of you. It's why we do what we do, right? We're trying to make a difference, and so far we are, but we're trying to make a bigger difference in the future, and we're set up to do just that. So please continue to support us, tell people about us, share us, and we can get to those things that we're trying to do that will better our lives, better your lives, better the community, the Black community, our country, and eventually the world, right? That's what we're doing. So see the bigger picture that we're getting into. What you got, bro? Last words?
Yeah, man. Congratulations on all the milestones.
Thank you.
Thanks for, having me be a part of one of the shows, man, and I'm loving it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And thanks everybody for tuning in to us, every week. And we appreciate you. Without you, there isn't us. So thank you.
Absolutely. And that's what's really going on. And trust, we got more coming for you. we just hitting the tip of the iceberg. This is what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, take care. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.
Peace.